Then comes Laughing Fox, Omaha Beach. Improbable in second. Omaha Beach is now a length in front. Improbable gonna try him one more time. Omaha Beach. Improbable to the outside. Omaha Beach just won't let him by yet. Improbable second. Omaha Beach. Yes!
All right, welcome back to Racing Rundown on YouTube. I did mention, or I have been mentioning in the past, that one of the things that I did want to do going into the new year, kind of like a New Year's resolution thing for the YouTube, is get more of the preview races that I was able to do during the summer out on some of the big Grade 1, and not necessarily just Grade 1, just some of the big races. And so that's what we have here, a preview of the Grade 1 Malibu Stakes. I will throw out the caveat here, we are going off of the probables for this race because Saturday night was the opportunity that I had to put this together. So if the final entry does change, I am just putting that out there. But the Grade 1 Malibu, 7 furlongs for 3-year-old males if you're not familiar with this race. And this is bringing together a field of some, I guess you could say this about all the horses in this race. Not necessarily all the horses, but a lot of them that, for whatever reason, be it injury or just them being overrated, whatever the case may be, a lot of horses in this race have not lived up to the potential that we thought they were going to have. I can think of 3 specific horses that fit that description: Omaha Beach, Instagrand, and Roadster. Now, Omaha Beach is a completely separate case from the other 2, Instagrand and Roadster. Omaha Beach, I don't want to say hasn't lived up to potential because he's been great, but he's been great this year, but the injury certainly took him out. We didn't get to see as much Omaha Beach as we thought we were going to see. But looking at the probables for this race up to this point, you've got Omaha Beach from the Richard Mandela barn, Roadster and Much Better from the Bob Baffert barn. You've also got Instagram. Chad Brown comes out to California with Complexity, and Manny Wah is another probable for this race. So talking about probably 6, maybe 7th horse, Speed Pass might also go from the Bob Baffert barn, but talking about 6 horses specifically for this, and the favorite for this race, and rightfully so, is going to be Omaha Beach. Roller coaster year for Omaha Beach is a great way to describe his 3-year-old campaign. He started out on the grass as a 2-year-old, really trying to find out what kind of a horse he was, switched from grass to the dirt, won a maiden at Santa Anita in his 4th start, then goes to Oaklawn and runs 2 dynamite performances in the Rebel and the Arkansas Derby, then has to scratch a few days prior to the Kentucky Derby, has the entire summer off, and does not run again until the October 5th Santa Anita Sprint Championship, and runs one of the best races of the year to beat a really, really nice sprinter, Chancelot. Richard Mandela did not want to put him in the Breeders' Cup Classic off of that performance, and so he got him in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, and due to questionable riding tactics, to say the least, by Mike Smith, Omaha Beach lost the race to a wire-to-wire winner in Spun to Run. This is going to be Omaha Beach's last start at Santa Anita. He has shown that he's been able to win at this track before. He's got 2 wins here in 3 starts. He's got this race, and he's going to go to the Pegasus, and then after that will be retired to stud. So, unfortunate that we're not going to get to see Omaha Beach and what he really could have been, but that's the way horse racing is. So, Omaha Beach has done well at the sprint distance before. This is in between the 7 furlongs and the 8 furlongs that he's run in his past 2 races. I think 7 furlongs isn't a problem for him. He was able to get the 6 furlongs in the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. He's obviously gone longer than 7 furlongs, so distance is not, this being shorter distance, it isn't a problem for him. He's gone short, he's gone long. Versatile horse right here. Moving on to one of the other big contenders for this race, Instagrand. This was a horse that came into the year with a lot of hype. That he had the 2 really good performances as a 2-year-old, then he was put on the shelf for the remainder of his 2-year-old season. So he won the Grade 2 Best Pal in August of 2018, and then was shelved for the entire rest of his 2-year-old campaign, as I mentioned, and then all the way didn't make another start until the March 9th Gotham Stakes, and he never really, I don't want to say he never really factored, but he never really looked like he was going to win. He got run by a horse High Call who came out of absolutely nowhere to beat him in that race. Went back out to Santa Anita, where he had not run his first start at Santa Anita, and tried the Santa Anita Derby, and he got beat by Roadster, a horse we're going to talk about in a minute, and Game Winner. And after that, they sent him to Churchill Downs to Pat Day Mile, and he got absolutely boat raced as the favorite in that race. So this is a horse that has not won since August of 2018, and I'll be completely honest with you, I don't think this is the spot where he gets it done. It just doesn't look like Instagrand is a horse that has moved up in class since his 2-year-old campaign. There are horses that do that have really good 2-year-old seasons and just don't put it together after that, and I feel Instagrand is one of those horses. So, unfortunate as it may be, also worth mentioning, his most recent start was an allowance optional claiming race at Del Mar. He ran 5th in that, behind one of the horses in this. Granted, Much Better ran 2nd, but Much Better was a horse that you would think by Instagram's 2-year-old campaign he would be better than, but not that case if you look at that race at Del Mar. So Instagram, not really a lot of confidence in him, but a lot of people think that he has the ability to put it together. Another horse that was super hyped coming out of one of his standout performances on the Derby Trail, Roadster. He had throat surgery over the winter of 2018 into 2019, and a lot of people said that fixed him and that he was going to be a freak on the Derby Trail. He won the Santa Anita Derby, a very slow time in that race, but he won that very high. A lot of people were very high on him coming out of the Santa Anita Derby. Goes to Kentucky and runs 15th in the Kentucky Derby and has not won since that Santa Anita Derby. So a common theme with this race, horses that have not won since their most recent since their last standout performance. Some of his highlights is 2nd in both the Affirmed and the Damascus Stakes, and his last start out, he was 4th, last place, but albeit 4th in the Grade 3 Native Divers. So this is a horse, Roadster, that for whatever reason has just not been able to put it together since the Santa Anita Derby, and I definitely think was overrated coming out of that race. I don't want to overreact and say that Much Better is better than Roadster, but it wouldn't surprise me. Much Better has run some good races this year. He hasn't run good races consistently, but think back to the same day as the Gotham, the Grade 3 Bayshore. He ran 2nd behind Mind Control, who went on to defeat Chancelot in the Grade 1 Alan Jerkins. So that's what I think of with Much Better, a horse that has a chance to run some good races. He was also 3rd in the Sham and 4th in the Gold Fever, but he was 7th in the Woody Stevens. Last start out in the same, as I mentioned, in the same allowance race that Instagram was in, he was 2nd in that. So that, and also the last horse I want to talk about is the Chad Brown trained runner, Complexity, front runner in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in 2018. This horse has not run well since then, 11th in the Woody Stevens, although he has won his most recent start on allowance optional claimer at Aqueduct. Not really sure that this is the spot where Complexity gets it back in, though. There's just much better competition in this race. It would be a nice story for Complexity if he was able to come back and win this race, but I don't think it happens. I think your favorite for this race is Omaha Beach. Very likely is going to get this final win on the trail to the Pegasus, and then we'll see what happens with him going into the Pegasus. But Omaha Beach for Richard Mandela looks to cap off what would be a disappointing, and the only reason I say disappointing is because we had so much expectation for this horse, specifically after he won the Arkansas Derby. So it would be probably a bittersweet end to his 3-year-old campaign, because obviously you go out with the win, but you're going to ask the question of, man, what could have been with Omaha Beach? So probably gets it done. There are some horses that are looking to break long win droughts, Instagram and Roadster. 2 horses that I would file in the overrated category. I know Eric talked about Instagram on the show yesterday as the horse that disappointed him the most in 2019, and that's what Instagram and Roadster, those 2 horses looking to break long spells of disappointment and time without a win. So we'll learn a lot from the Malibu on what kind of horses we have going forward. Maybe if Instagram puts it together, he might be in contention to have a good season as a 4-year-old. But he has to win the race first, and I don't think that's going to happen today. So this has been preview for the Malibu. We'll be back later, probably within the next couple of days, with a preview for the Grade 1 La Brea. And then also I got a Joe Bravo interview for you that will be released before Tuesday. So got that to look forward to. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Game winner and Nolo Contesto, but now Instagrand called on and he fights back. Instagrand game winner. Roadster is finding his best ride in the center of the track, putting in a big effort. Game winner between horses. Instagrand at the rail, and here's Roadster storming home. Roadster on the outside, and game winner go on with it. Roadster so confidently handled, and Roadster gets up to win the Santa Anita Derby ultra impressively.